Hi, everybody. Just wanted to welcome you to Inspiration Learning Center's Tutoring and Private School Branding session. You're going to spend the next hour and a half learning about our strategy and how you can join our company. Education, you'll learn about the education business and you'll learn what a boom we're on. So let's talk about our agenda. I'm going to talk about our core values. I'm going to talk about some market research. We'll talk about what we offer and some of the developments that have come out of our learnings. And we'll talk about, of course, some of the costs and the startup costs and existing costs that you will experience. I want you to understand our brand, and then we'll go over to break down all of our services. Again, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. We may give some information here. We can't guarantee anything. At the end of the day, the brand can deliver the experience, but really it's the operator that's going to deliver the bottom line. So why franchising? Let's talk about it. It's a prominent business sector in Canada. Growth rate in the last, since 1993, year over year, it's grown at 20%. What's interesting is they say every 90 minutes, a new franchise opens in Canada. So what they say, what's interesting, is that non-franchise business, 40% fail in the first year, 80% fail in the next 5 years. So what it says is that of the people that actually last 5 years, 20% of that, and that's 20%, 80% of that has failed, the next 5 years, only 20% that will be successful, they will fail within the next 5 years. So this is Gallium. This is our franchisee from Oakville. She has a master's in education at Windsor. She worked for Kumon. Most of our franchisees do not have an education background. Not to say that they haven't had a university, it's more that they've not been in that sector. The reason why she became in business was really, and why she bought a franchise, was the franchise was a great opportunity for her. It was a way for her to learn the business through a system. And again, she's been around for over 10 years. She bought a resale from our founder, and she had 2 locations, and she went to one because she wanted to concentrate on her private school once she got her private school license, which she recently did. What's interesting is that why she loves this business is every day is a different business. I love this saying, if you don't know where you're coming from, then you don't know where you are. And if you don't know where you are, then you don't know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you're probably going wrong. And most people think that. And that's why when they sit down, they say, you know what? Probably don't want to work in the corporate business anymore. I want to be my own boss and my own owner. So here's some questions that you have to answer. As an employee, do you work 80 hours? Look at your career movement. Are you able to move up? What about the fear of losing the job? I mean, everywhere we go, we hear closures and bankruptcies. One of the main reasons why people don't leave their job is they don't like their boss. They don't have their own control to make decisions. So again, not all people want to be employees. Some people may say, you know what, I love it. I love the security. But at the end of the day, life as an owner is you're able to control your life, your working hours, being involved in your community. You actually are your decision maker. You're your own boss. In our business, you have the opportunity to be a multi-unit operator. You're also able to build net worth. And then again, what I always say is the last comment is we always have a resale exit strategy. Great part of franchising and being an owner is to make sure that one day when you're ready to sell, you have a strategy. So who are we? I'm going to just talk in this slide about our mission and our vision statement. Our mission statement states that every child is unique. This means education is not one size fits all. And that's unique in all of our children that we see. Everybody learns in a separate way. We have to teach in a separate way. We may teach the same criterion, but at the end of the day, we teach different. And our vision statement is be tutored, be enlightened, be inspired. You could be tutoring people, but at the end of the day, the kids have to be enlightened and be inspired. Let's talk a little bit about our history. Inspiration was created in 2003 by our founder, Angel. Angel came from China. She was a teacher in China, and she came with $300 to Canada. She got her master's degree in Thunder Bay, and then really, she didn't know what she wanted to do. So she came, and she became a tutor. After that, the tutor owner wanted her to be the manager. She says, you know what? I'm going to scrape $1,000 up, and I'm going to own my own business. 2006, she published her own booklets that we still use these days in our learning strategy. 2008, with Gallium, we started franchising. 2010, we'll talk about the education consulting services that we introduced. 2011, we introduced our private school, high school credit. And in 2018, we're expanding. So let's talk about our methodologies. In the Eastern way, how they learn is really by memorization and then testing, quizzing, and homework. In the Western way, it's really about show and tell almost. The tutor or the teacher shows them how they do it. They repeat afterwards, and then they actually have an understanding of how they do it. And then they continue to practice. So again, as our mission statements is that each child learns differently, we are the ones that want to make sure that we combine the Eastern method with the Western method. So look at our inspiration system. Tutoring is in the middle. We'll do a diagnostics test, and that's in the green. And from that, we'll get a result. So a child comes in, we do a diagnostic test, and then we get a result. Now we know how their weaknesses and their strength. If you go on the blue section and on the white, what that shows is that we work through workbooks. Some are published workbooks, and some are self-published workbooks. Each one is designed for the child to learn. If you go to the red, we always will be communicating with the schools. We always ask for their report cards. We always ask for feedback from their guidance council. So we understand what's going on in the school, then we'll understand how we should tutor them. All the other points there are very important, but one of the points that are very important is the progress report. We want to make sure that they understand, that the parents understand, and even the child understands how they're doing. What we don't want to do is 6 months into the program, both of them don't realize that we have to take a different course. We have to take a different vision. So we want to make sure each month that we update the parents and let them know how the child is doing. What's interesting is there's about 5.7 million families with children in Canada. Our average income in Canada is actually very good. With 2 or more children, it's about 118. Doesn't mean that it's just one parent working, it's probably double parent working. I love this saying, is 60% of parents say they do not have time to help their children. So that's where the tutoring business is on a boom. And 90% of parents agree that more preparation is needed for the workforce, or even for university. This is my favorite comment by Statistic Canada. Almost $1,700 was spent on education by every household in 2016. We're in 2019, almost going into 2020. I'm sure that's almost doubled. Most youth feel that they have a better environment that their parents did, and they're getting a better education, or they have the ability to get a better education. Let me rephrase that. As we know, we're very multicultural in Canada, and immigrants say that they have 86% a better feeling about themselves, about their education in Canada. Non-immigrants are 68. We've seen a great growth rate, 500% growth rate in the education business in the last 30 years. And 33% of our parents have engaged in tutoring at the age of 5 all the way up to 24. This is a big business, people. It's a $1 billion business a year business. And what's interesting is there's only 13,000 employers in Canada in the education service. So there's a need for education. That's not a lot of employers. And that includes tutoring, private schools, and also the school board. This is a chart. What this shows is that there's a high cost and a low cost. On the left-hand side, when you look at your screen, that shows a tutoring service. On the right-hand side, it shows private school. Let's start on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, it talks about where we want to play. We know our competitors are Oxford, Sylvain, and Kumon. What this shows is that we really want to play in the middle of the road. We don't want to be the highest, and we don't want to be the lowest. So we want to be the person that pays in the middle of the road. In the tutoring business, you don't want to be the lowest. You don't want to discount, because then people question, why are your services so cheap? In the private school, you'll see Pickering and UCC, those are the boarding schools. Again, we want to be level with all of our other competitors. I want to talk about our competitors. I'm going to talk about royalties, ad fund, costs, and franchise fee and territory. If you look at Kumon, Kumon does full payment. So if that someone pays upfront, it's $38 a child. So if you have 100 children a month, you're paying $38. That's about $3,800. Oxford royalty is about 10%. Mathnasium, again, they have a small fee plus 10%. Tutor Doctor is interesting because they have 8% or management fee. So what they say is they want a minimum that they collect every month from their franchisees. Inspiration does 10%. Ad fund, every month they collect $2,400. Oxford does 3%. Mathnasium does again $250 plus 2%. Tutor Doctor 2%. Inspiration 2%. You'll see the costs that where everybody's consistent between anywhere from $70,000 to $148,000. Oxford can be a little bit more expensive, but again, you'll see that everybody's between $70,000 to $150,000. Our franchise fee, you'll see that Kumon actually has a low franchise fee, but they have a higher royalty fee. Oxford has $40,000, Mathnasium has $49,000, and if you get a local territory, you're going to for a Tutor Doctor, you're going to do $44,000. And then if you want a bigger one, you're going to add another $49,000. Inspiration does $48,000, and the next slide will show our breakdown. Territory. Some of our competitors do not give territory, and some do. Kumon does not. Oxford will, Mathnasium will, Tutor Doctor doesn't, and Inspiration will. So let's talk about our multi-concept. If you just want, and you come to us and you say you just want a tutor center, then we'll charge you a $35,000 franchise fee. If you come to us and you say you want a tutor center in a private school, we'll charge a $48,000 franchise fee. Upon signing your franchise agreement, we'll do $35,000. And once your application for your private school starts, we'll charge $13,000. Let's say you just started with a tutor center only, and then a couple years later you decided to have a private school. We will charge the $13,000 fee plus any signage that has to change to advertise that you are a private school. So who are our customers? It's interesting. Before I would say parents looking for a higher education. Right now it's parents looking for a higher education, but it's also students looking for a post-secondary education. It's looking for them to get more better marks. And it's also students with LD, ADHD, or ADHD, anybody with a learning disability. So let's talk about our service. If you talk about our tutoring business, we're a really small group. We have a 1-to-4 ratio, which means one tutor to 4 students maximum. We also have either in-house or at home. So we'll go to people's home or we have in-house. We do tell them that you're going to see a great results in 3 months. And what makes us unique is we're all ages and all subjects. So let's talk about our private school. We're fully accredited courses. Again, we do one-on-one or we do small group. This is where we allow people to come and get actually a high school credit, whether it's one course or full-time. And we'll talk about our range of prices very shortly. Education consulting, interesting. A lot of people out there that their parents don't know how to fill out applications. They don't understand volunteer time. They don't understand that the kids these days have to talk about the interview preparation. So we add an education consulting service, and we help parents guide their kids so that they can get into a post-secondary university or college. Retail. We sell books. Some of our published books and some are published books. It's one of our pillars, as we call. As you can see, we always say we have 4 pillars of income: tutoring, private school, high school credit, education consulting, and retail. What other tutoring place gives you 4 pillars of income? So some of our things that we are proud of and what we do is we're proven system. We have 11 locations. We have 1 in Calgary, 10 in Ontario. We'll do a comprehension training, includes 2 people. We'll give you regional managers that will come into your center and help you. What makes us unique is we actually have corporate stores that ourselves we run. We're always updating our resources, and we'll always add new programs. We'll help you with the tutors and the teachers hiring. At the beginning, we'll help you. What's unique about our system is that our franchisees and our corporate stores share tutors and teachers. So if you're short a teacher or tutor, just call up another store. We'll talk about lead generations through our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and website. We will help you with site selection and the design, and we always will have quarterly meetings with our franchisees and ongoing assistance. All of our trademarks have been registered, and we're a member of the Canadian Franchise Association. We also have a learning management system. And we'll also talk about our continuous training. Everything you talk about, you'll have an operation manual. We'll give you course material on every subject. And we're a high visibility. Not necessarily in location, because in the tutoring business, it's not about the location being on what we call main to main. We can take secondary sites and second floors. Our training process is very unique. We have a 3-step method. We'll talk about 2 weeks in our centers where we'll go over the responsibility of our franchisees. We'll talk about a marketing strategy. We'll talk and make sure you understand our programs. Then once you're all set to go, we'll be on site for 1 week. We'll help you set up the whole location. We'll help you with getting clients. And then the 3rd step is if you get a private school, we'll come back and help you to launch the private school. So you see our brand colors. You'll see the blue and red matches our logo. You see that we have 3 trademark logos out there. You see our brand colors, and our brand colors are very important. It matches our logos, what we stand for. Each classroom has 4 desks in it. It has a board, a whiteboard, and you can see that each classroom has a different color. As you come in, you're welcomed by the receptionist, And then there's always one room where you can go and talk with the parents. We do have waiting rooms for our people. But as you know, in the tutoring business, parents just drop off their kids and come back. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to talk about, in high level, that really kindergarten to grade 12, our cost range is $33 to $42 an hour. They commit to, through 3 months, a minimum of 2 hours per session. That's what makes us different. Most people offer 1 hour. We offer 2 hours. You're getting a better business, a better education, and you're pleasing the parents by the 2 hours. The average student, so you know, comes 2 to 3 times a week. If it's a private tutoring, we charge more, around $56 to $67 an hour. When we talk about high school credit, we need to do about 110 hours per course, and our part-time per course is $1,800 to $1,900 per course. On a part-time private one-on-one, we charge about $24 to $25. If our kids come full-time in a group session, we charge anywhere from $16,000 to $18,000. And a full-time one-on-one is $22,000 to $24,000. If you're looking for full-time with kids that have LD, ADD, ADHD, we only do one-on-one, and it's about $28,000. Education consultant. We have 3 brands, plans, my apologies. $2,500 is where we just fill out the application. Plan C is $15,000. Those are mostly for international students that came over, that we go through every part of their education with them. We go to parents' teachers' night, and if there's any issues with the child at school, the principal or the guidance council calls us, and we report back to the parents. And our plan B is the middle of the road. When you talk about retail, we sell books for $10, we charge students for $20. That's our published workbooks. If you talk about books from other publishers, we charge our franchisees $15 and the students $30. I love this saying, growth is never by mere chance. It's the result of forces working together. We work with you. We give you guidance. You work with us, and we get successful. We're very proud members of the Canadian Franchise Association, and this year we won the Grand Prize of Excellence. What this says is, this is all voted by their franchisee. So our franchisee will go fill out a form, a survey, that's executed by the Canadian Franchise Association. We won our 2018 and 2019 Franchise Choice Award. From there, you look at, they go for units from 6 to 15, and then they look at units for 15 and above. And if you look at us, we're 6 to 15 units. We won the Gold Award, which says that we won, of all the units, franchise systems out there, from 6 to 15 units, our franchisees voted us the most best franchisor out there. And how do you win the grand prize? The grand prize is for all franchise systems out there. There's actually about 700 brands in the CFA, Canadian Franchise Association, and we won the grand prize. So let's talk about next steps. You're here talking at our webinar. I'd like to meet you. Our franchise coordinator will give you a call if you send us an email. They will introduce themselves and talk about the program and familiarize with it. At the end of that, after that, they'll set you up with the franchise manager, and they want you to come to the location. We'll do a strategy presentation. It's a little bit about our webinar, but we'll go in more detail. Our next stage is you fill out an application. After you fill out an application, meet a founder. Meet who started the system, who inspired all of our students and tutoring and franchisees. At the end, after that stage, if you're approved, we'll start talking about locations and territories. And the final stage is signing agreements and starting your training. Here are some of our availability areas. I just gave you GTA, but we're looking all across Canada. So if you have an area that you want to develop, call us. Call Joel Friedman, 416-819-2644, inspirationfranchise@gmail.com. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. We'd be more than happy to see you. And so in conclusion, I want to say to everybody, be tutored, be enlightened, be inspired, and thank you very much. I want to go back and let you know that you can contact Joel Friedman, 416-819-2644 at inspirationfranchise@gmail.com. I thank you very much and look forward to speaking with you and look forward to seeing you. Thank you and goodbye.